manila envelope hit Chief Sterling's desk, sliding open to reveal a disturbing spread: surveillance photos, detailed family schedules, and one chilling list that would freeze the heart of any parent. At the very top of that list, Officer Thorne Calloway's 11-year-old daughter, Wren. The Los Sierras Cartel had spent months crafting their revenge against the Del Rio Police Department. But they missed one critical detail. They never asked why Officer Calloway had adopted a retired military K-9, a German shepherd named Atlas, who'd served 3 combat tours in Afghanistan. That mistake would unravel everything. What started as a targeted attempt to intimidate a little girl waiting for her school bus was about to ignite a chain of events far beyond their control. That autumn morning, when 3 black SUVs closed in on Wren Calloway, they weren't just facing a schoolgirl. They were up against a war-tested dog whose instincts would expose a criminal network stretching from rural Texas to the heart of Mexico City. The fallout? Dozens of arrests, a dismantled cartel operation, and a powerful reminder: sometimes the fiercest protectors walk on 4 legs and never ask for thanks. Quick pause before we continue. Drop a comment and let us know where in the world you're watching from. And if these stories keep you hooked, hit that subscribe button, because tomorrow's episode is something else. The morning had started like any other in Del Rio. Wren sat at the kitchen table, spreading jam on her toast, while Atlas rested underfoot, ears twitching at every sound from outside. "You're extra jumpy today," Wren said with a smile, sneaking him a piece of bacon. His tail gave a soft thump, but his eyes stayed locked on the window. Officer Thorne Calloway looked up from his case files, exhaustion in his face. "Wren, straight to the bus stop. Don't leave Atlas." "Dad, you've told me that like a million times," she said, rolling her eyes. But she wasn't annoyed. She understood. Over the past month, 3 families had quietly left the neighborhood after receiving threats from the cartel. Her mother, Sage Calloway, still in her scrubs after a night shift, kissed her forehead. Make that 1,000,001. These days, we can't be too careful. Outside, the Texas sun was burning away the fog. Wren adjusted her backpack, its purple straps dotted with pins from her favorite bands, and Atlas automatically fell into step beside her, scanning their surroundings like it was second nature. 2 blocks from home, her best friend Rain joined them. "Your dog's acting weird," she said, eyeing Atlas as he moved between them and a slow-moving car. "He does that sometimes," Wren replied. "Dad says it's his training. He picks up on stuff we can't." At the corner store, Mr. Hawthorne, a retired Marine, was setting out his morning display. He always saved a treat for Atlas. But today, the dog ignored the biscuit. His gaze was locked on a black SUV parked across the street. "Morning, girls," Hawthorne called out, his voice cheerful but edged with worry. He'd seen enough in his life to recognize a bad feeling. "Stay sharp today." The bus stop was just 3 houses away, normally a quick walk. But today, Atlas made them stop twice, gently nudging them behind parked cars. To anyone else it might have looked odd, paranoid even. But Wren had learned long ago to trust his instincts. "What is it, boy?" she whispered, fingers brushing his tense fur. Then they heard it. Engines. 3 black SUVs rolled in from different directions, their tinted windows hiding whatever came next. Atlas stiffened. It was barely noticeable. But for those who knew military dogs, it was a signal. He was preparing. Rain gripped Wren's arm. "Maybe we should go back." Too late. The first SUV stopped. A door opened. A man in an expensive suit stepped out, smiling, but not with his eyes. "Wren Calloway," he said, his voice smooth, too calm. "Your father and I need to talk." Atlas didn't bark. He didn't bare his teeth. He simply shifted, placing himself between the man and the girls with quiet, deliberate authority. "My dad says I'm not supposed to talk to strangers," Wren said, her voice steady, echoing everything her father had taught her. "Oh, but we're not strangers," said the man. His name was Nero Valdez, though Wren didn't know it yet. He took a step closer. "Your father's been a problem. It's time he learns what that means." 2 more doors opened. Rain stepped back, but Wren stood firm, her hand buried in Atlas's fur. The dog was calculating, analyzing every movement, every facial twitch. He was ready. Then, A voice. I'd think very carefully about what happens next. Fox Hawthorne stood at the corner, phone raised high. Police are already on their way. Nero's smile thinned. This isn't over, little girl. Tell your father. Atlas moved, not to attack, but to make one thing crystal clear. He was ready. He was capable, and he would not let anyone take another step. Sometimes the most powerful warning doesn't need to be loud, just loyal. The sharp wail of sirens tore through the morning silence. The men didn't wait. They scrambled back to their black SUVs, but not before Nero locked eyes with Wren one last time. We'll be seeing you again, he said coldly. As the vehicles peeled away, Officer Reed Nash's patrol car rounded the corner, flanked by 2 more units. Atlas held his ground, still standing between Wren and the fading threat, muscles tense, instincts locked in. Fox Hawthorne jogged over, his old Marine reflexes kicking in as he quickly scanned the scene. You girls all right? He asked, voice low but steady. Wren nodded, her fingers still buried in Atlas's fur. The dog hadn't relaxed, not even with backup on site. Something in his posture told her more than any police scanner ever could. This wasn't over, it was just beginning. Inside the Del Rio Police Department, the atmosphere buzzed with tense urgency. Officer Thorne Calloway burst through the main doors, rage and fear etched across his face. He found Wren sitting safely in Chief Sterling's office, Atlas at her side, still alert, watching every movement in the room like it was a battlefield. Thorne dropped to his knees beside his daughter. Are you hurt? Did they touch you? I'm fine, Dad, she said softly. But Atlas, he knew. He knew something was wrong before they even showed up. Chief Sterling stood at the window, watching a stream of unmarked vehicles pull into the lot. Nash got 3 partial plates. We're running them now. Sergeant Storm Rhodes stepped into the room, her K-9 unit badge catching the morning light. Before joining the force, she'd trained hundreds of military dogs. Her eyes went straight to Atlas. Tell me exactly what he did, she asked, pulling up a chair beside Wren. He kept making us stop, hiding behind parked cars, Wren said, her hand finding the dog's fur again. Then when that man stepped out, Atlas didn't growl or bark. He just moved. Storm nodded, a knowing look in her eyes. Threat containment positioning. That's high-level training, the kind we only give to Special Forces K-9S. Thorne paced the office, his police radio buzzing with updates. I want to know how they knew her route to school, he growled. How long have they been watching us? In the corner, Fox Hawthorne gave his statement to Detective Cassidy. These weren't amateurs, the veteran said grimly. 3-vehicle containment, coordinated approach. These guys have done this before. Chief Sterling's phone vibrated. He checked the message. His expression darkened. Officer Reed just found something. Corner of Maple and 5th, surveillance photos. Not just of Wren. They've been watching all our families. Storm's hand drifted instinctively to her weapon. They're escalating. This isn't intimidation anymore. Thorne turned to his daughter. Tell them what Atlas did 2 weeks ago. Wren sat up straighter. We were jogging, like every Saturday, but Atlas kept steering us away from a parked van. And later, Thorne continued, we found out it had surveillance equipment inside. Long-range cameras. We thought it was a one-off. Storm opened a tablet and pulled up Atlas's military file. 3 tours in Afghanistan, specialized in threat detection and personnel protection. She paused. Her voice softened. His last handler? Chief Sterling asked the question. What happened to him? Killed in an ambush. Atlas stayed behind with the wounded, held the perimeter for 6 hours until help arrived. Storm looked at the dog with a new level of respect. Dogs like him? They don't usually end up in civilian homes. A knock on the door. Officer Nova Kent stepped in with a stack of photos. Sir, you need to see these, she said, laying them out. Past month. School routes, shopping trips, even soccer games. Thorne picked one up. His hands trembled. This is inside the school. Someone on the inside had to take it. Easy, Chief Sterling said, though his voice was tight. We do this by the book. If we've got a leak, We plug it clean. Atlas's ears perked up. Outside, a black sedan crept past the station for the third time. That's the third pass, Storm noted, already raising her radio. Read, we need eyes on a black sedan, tinted windows, eastbound on Main. Wren watched the adults working around her. Something clicked. They've been watching us for a long time, haven't they? Thorne froze. Chief Sterling met his eyes, then nodded. 6 months ago, Thorne said carefully, we got close to something big. Money laundering, fake business fronts, weird shipping patterns at the border. Then the threats started. Los Sierras doesn't bluff, Fox added. Back in the Corps, we had intel on them. They're patient. They wait. Storm's radio buzzed again. That sedan? Registered to the same shell company that came up in the Martinez case. Chief Sterling hit a button on his desk phone. Get me Sergeant Webb at Border Patrol. We're linking our surveillance unit starting now. Wren spoke again, voice small but firm. What about school? The room went quiet. Atlas pressed closer to her side, sensing the tension. Online classes for now, Thorne said. And we're relocating you and Mom to a safe... No, Wren interrupted. Wren straightened her shoulders, surprising even herself with the firmness in her voice. This is our home, she said. Atlas can protect us. That's why you chose him, right? Storm leaned forward slightly, nodding. Your daughter's right, Thorne. Moving them might actually make them more vulnerable. Atlas was trained for exactly this, to protect civilians under threat. He's built for it. At the sound of his name, Atlas's ears twitched, but his gaze never wavered from the street outside. Silent, alert, ready. We do this smart, Chief Sterling said firmly. We boost patrols in the neighborhood. Storm, I want your K-9 units working with Atlas's former handlers. If he's picking up on surveillance, we need to understand what he's seeing. Fox stood up, having finished his witness report. I'll notify the local business association. We'll get every security camera in town pointed in the right direction. Just then, another officer stepped into the room. Chief, we found something in one of the surveillance photos. You're going to want to see this. As the adults moved to examine the new evidence, Wren quietly buried her face in Atlas's thick fur. He didn't flinch. His training allowed him to comfort her and stay vigilant all at once. We're gonna be okay, right? She whispered. Atlas didn't make a sound. Instead, he subtly shifted his body, placing himself at a better angle to cover both the door and the window, a silent promise. Nothing would happen to her. Not while he stood guard. Hey, if you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. These stories take time to tell, and your support means the world to us. Now, back to the action. Night fell over Del Rio. The border town streets were unusually quiet. Inside the Callaway home, Atlas moved silently from window to window, every step deliberate, every motion loaded with purpose. Wren sat on the couch, pretending to focus on her schoolwork, but her eyes were on Atlas. He's been like this for an hour, Sage whispered to her husband, trying to keep her voice steady for Wren's sake. Thorne checked his phone again. 3 more surveillance setups had been found that day, all of them equipped with high-end military-grade gear. Then Atlas froze. His ears twitched forward. His entire body went still. He'd learned long ago how to separate neighborhood background noise from actual threats. What is it, boy? Wren started to rise, but Thorne gently motioned her to stay put. Atlas padded to the kitchen window, eyes locked onto something in the dark. Seconds later, Officer Nash's voice crackled through Thorne's radio. Movement behind Cedar Street Alley. 3 subjects, armed. Storm came over the channel next. All units hold. Let's see what they're after. Over the past week, the Callaway home had been quietly turned into a fortress. Cameras covered every possible angle. Locks had been reinforced. But the real security system, the one no blueprint could capture, was a dog named Atlas. Suddenly, his head snapped toward the back door. A faint scratching noise followed. Barely audible, but clear to him. They're testing us, Thorne murmured, reaching for his sidearm. Sage, get Wren upstairs. Storm's voice interrupted over the radio, sharp and calm. No, hold position. Atlas has this. The German shepherd moved into place, silent and sure. taking a flanking position by the back door. His training had taught him that sometimes the threat of intervention was more effective than acting first. A shadow slid across the window. Atlas didn't move. His body was tense, coiled like a spring. Then, the doorknob twitched. Still, he didn't break. Years of discipline held him in place. "Del Rio PD!" Officer Reed's voice thundered from outside. "Step away from the door!" Chaos erupted, footsteps pounded, engines roared, shouts in Spanish echoed through the alley, but inside the house Atlas never flinched. He made sure no one, no matter how fast or desperate, could get through that door. "Subjects fleeing northbound on Cedar," Storm reported, "but something's off." "This feels like a decoy," Thorne finished, his face pale. "Check the schools, now." "En route to Del Rio High," Reed responded instantly. "Nash, you've got the middle school." Only after hearing those words did Atlas finally move, not to rest, but to reposition beside Ren. His body language had changed, no longer on high alert, now fully protective. He was watching every angle, prepared for whatever came next. Storm's voice came across the radio again. "How did they know about our patrols? That info was classified." Thorne's phone buzzed, a message from Chief Sterling. As he read it, his face darkened. "They found something at the school," he said grimly. "Photos of every officer's kid, time-stamped from this morning." Sage gasped. "But the school's been closed all week." Fox's voice came through the radio. "Unless someone inside the district is feeding them information." Storm's K-9 units had just reported something else. Fresh tire tracks found behind both schools. Atlas remained by the window, ears focused, posture steady. He wasn't just waiting, he was preparing. Atlas stayed posted at the back door, muscles tight, eyes sharp. His training told him the threat hadn't passed. Not completely. "They're deeper than we thought," Thorne admitted, voice low. "This isn't just surveillance. The cartel's embedded right here in our community." Ren edged closer to Atlas, drawing strength from the calm, steady presence at her side. "That's why they were so confident at the bus stop, wasn't it?" she said. "They thought they had everything under control." "They planned every move," Storm replied. "But they didn't count on Atlas." She paused, eyes locked on the dog. "Military K-9S like him, they're trained to spot patterns most people don't even notice. Every time the cartel shifts, he's gathering intel." Chief Sterling's voice crackled through the radio. "All units, be advised. Border Patrol just intercepted a vehicle matching our SUV description. Driver claims to work for the school district." As new patrol units arrived outside, Atlas shifted his focus, now watching the front of the house. The scene was locked down, but the tension hadn't lifted. "We've got Border Patrol analyzing the surveillance gear," Reed added. "It's not cartel grade, this stuff is professional, military grade." "They're escalating," Storm said grimly. "And they're using Atlas's presence as an excuse to move in heavier assets, testing our response." Thorne looked at his daughter, watching how Atlas kept her shielded while scanning every possible threat angle. "Maybe that's where they slipped," he said slowly. "They're trying so hard to match Atlas. They're exposing their own infrastructure." Fox nodded from across the room, his voice calm but hard. "Military gear leaves a trail. Suppliers. Shipping records. That trail could lead us straight to whoever's running things here." "Exactly," Storm added. Atlas finally laid down, resting, but not relaxing. His ears were still tracking movement. He knew this fight wasn't over. Not even close. "This round's done," Thorne told his family. "Storm's team will cover the perimeter tonight. And tomorrow," Reed added, "we follow the trail that equipment left behind." Ren leaned against Atlas, feeling the weight of him. Solid, grounded, protective. "They thought he was just a dog," she whispered. "That's exactly what we wanted them to believe," Storm replied. "And in trying to outplay him, they just revealed their whole network." Atlas's ear twitched, reacting to a sound no one else noticed. He didn't move otherwise. The night's attack had failed, but more importantly, it had exposed the enemy's weaknesses. The cartel came to send a message. Instead, they exposed themselves. All because they underestimated a soldier on 4 legs who never forgot what he was trained to do. Morning sunlight spilled into Chief Sterling's office. The desk was covered in gear, surveillance equipment, high-end comms, cameras. All of it military grade. All found within 3 blocks of the Calloway home, Sterling muttered. Serial numbers were removed, Reed reported, but Storm's contact at the Pentagon confirmed it. This gear was part of a shipment that vanished last month in Arizona. Fox examined one of the devices, handling it with a Marine's precision. "This isn't cartel junk," he said. "This is Delta Force level tech." Under the conference table, Atlas rested at Wren's feet, but his ears twitched at every noise in the hallway. Too many officers were gathered for a routine briefing. The German Shepherd could feel it. Something was off. Storm entered, holding a tablet. "We found something else," she announced. The school surveillance photos? They were taken from inside the administration office. Thorne's grip tightened on his coffee. Someone with access, codes, files. Sage stepped forward. "Wren's teacher, Miss Frost. She's been documenting changes, staff reassignments, new contractors, even new security policies." Atlas lifted his head sharply, his focus shifting to the hallway. Seconds later, Mrs. Bliss, the school secretary, appeared at the door, visibly shaken. "Chief, you need to see this." She handed over a folder. "I reviewed personnel changes from the last 6 months. 3 of our new hires, their background checks were tampered with." "They've been laying the groundwork," Storm said. "Infiltrating. Positioning assets." Fox moved to the window. "They're not just watching us anymore. They're building infrastructure, communication, control." A low rumble from Atlas silenced the room. The dog was locked onto someone outside, a maintenance worker pushing a cart. Wren glanced at him. He's never reacted to janitors before. Storm was already moving. "Reed, verify that worker's ID. Now." Reed rushed out. But when they pulled up the hallway camera feed, there was no trace of the man, no cart, nothing. "They're inside," Chief Sterling growled. "Inside our own building." Atlas stood, placing himself protectively beside Wren. Just then, Officer Nash burst in. "Chief, we found something buried in the school's maintenance logs. A new security camera installation, last month." "Company doesn't exist," Fox said darkly, "but the cameras are real, and broadcasting." Storm's tablet chimed. "Border Patrol just intercepted chatter. Something big's crossing the river tonight." "They're using the school surveillance to track us," Thorne said, connecting the dots. "Parents' pickup times. Patrol schedules, drop-offs. They've mapped our entire operation," Reed added, "and we didn't even know." Atlas's ears swiveled toward the window, a split second before a black SUV rolled into the parking lot. Storm raised her binoculars. "Federal plates," she said, "but something's off with the font." "Don't call it in," Chief Sterling ordered. "If they're monitoring our frequencies, we tip our hand." Fox was already on his personal phone. "I've got someone who can run those plates off-network." Wren quietly watched Atlas, remembering Storm's lessons on K9 behavior. "He's not acting like it's an immediate threat," she said. "It's more like he's studying them." Storm smiled. "Smart girl, that's exactly right. Military dogs like Atlas, they don't just react. They build profiles over time. He's creating a mental database of everything that feels wrong." Mrs. Bliss returned with more files. "These security upgrades were signed off by the school board, but look at the signatures." Thorne examined the documents, his brow tightening. "These 3 board members? They all resigned last month. Replaced suddenly." "Emergency appointments," Nash confirmed, flipping through his notes. "Due to unexpected health issues." "Health issues?" Sage raised an eyebrow. "I work in the ER. None of those names ever came through." Atlas suddenly moved toward the office door, his body language shifting. Storm saw it instantly. "Someone just accessed the security office," she said. "He can hear the keypad being used down the hall." Reed slipped out silently, looping around the corridor to flank the target from behind. Fox moved to the window, tracking possible exit points. We let this play out, Chief Sterling decided. Move too soon and they'll vanish. Take the whole network with them. Agreed, Storm said. Atlas, stay. The German shepherd obeyed without hesitation, still as stone despite every instinct telling him to engage. Nash's radio crackled. 3 clicks, the team's new signal for secure, uncompromised communication. It's the maintenance guy, Reed's voice whispered over comms. He's copying files from the security server. Let him finish, Storm instructed. Once he leaves, Atlas can track him. These rats will lead us right to the nest. Ren stayed silent, watching the adults move like clockwork. No shouting, no panic, just quiet coordination and trust. Just like your old unit, huh? She whispered to Atlas. The dog's ear twitched, but his focus never wavered. His discipline, his patience, it was all part of the training. He knew sometimes the biggest threats revealed themselves slowly. Fox's voice came through. SUV's pulling out. Same vehicle, different plates. They're rushing now, getting sloppy. Chief Sterling's phone buzzed. He read the message, his expression darkening. Border Patrol just confirmed it. Tonight's shipment, it's not drugs, it's gear. Tactical grade, night vision, comm scramblers. They're gearing up for war, Fox muttered. But they didn't expect us to have a special forces operator of our own, Storm said, glancing at Atlas. The German shepherd finally lowered into a more relaxed posture, but not fully. The surveillance threat had passed, for now, but his instincts told him this was only the calm before something far bigger. The cartel had escalated, and in doing so, they'd made a mistake. They'd shown just how deep their operation ran. Now it was time to follow the trail and bring it crashing down. Later that evening, the parking lot of the Del Rio courthouse sat nearly empty. An unmarked sedan pulled in, Officer Nash behind the wheel. His week-old beard and plain clothes maintained the illusion. No badge, no uniform, just another civilian. In his earpiece, Storm's voice came through. Target vehicle past checkpoint 2, 2 minutes out. Atlas lay in the back seat, still as a shadow, but every muscle was alert, every breath measured. He was watching, waiting. The courthouse had been flagged as a dead-drop location. Cartel intel had been flowing through it for weeks, and now, finally, they were ready to intercept. Movement at the south entrance, Fox reported from inside a nearby coffee shop. We've got a board member, our friend from the school district, just arrived. Through the courthouse windows, they spotted Mrs. Bliss in conversation with the newly appointed board member. To a passerby, it looked routine, normal, but it wasn't. Package confirmed, Bliss's voice whispered over comms. They're exchanging student files for patrol schedules. Atlas's ears twitched, the only sign he picked up something out of place. Nash caught the signal and murmured into his mic. Backdoor access. Someone's bypassing security. Storm's voice stayed calm. Hold position. Let's see where this goes. Inside, Thorne moved through the courthouse hallways disguised in a janitor's uniform. Face low, hat pulled tight. The cartel's arrogance in using official buildings had finally given them a chance, a real shot at uncovering the network from the inside. A cartel's attempt to infiltrate and take over Del Rio's entire infrastructure, schools, courts, and emergency services, was stopped by an unlikely hero, a military-trained German shepherd named Atlas. As federal agents and local officers closed in, Atlas's advanced training allowed him to detect threats no human could, track subtle patterns, and expose hidden networks of surveillance and sabotage. From uncovering illegal student file trades to intercepting armed contractors in court tunnels, he became the tactical advantage no one expected. Over time, what started as a rescue operation evolved into a national blueprint. Atlas helped uncover a global cartel strategy to control city infrastructure using diplomatic cover, fake contracts, and compromised officials. Every subtle ear twitch and posture shift helped dismantle the shadow system, protect civilians, and guide tactical responses. After the operation, the Atlas Protocol became a global model for preventing criminal infiltration. Atlas trained new K-9 units, helped establish security standards, and turned Del Rio into an international center for protection training. 5 years later, with no successful cartel infiltration reported worldwide, communities across continents owe their safety to one dog who never forgot his training. Atlas didn't just protect a town, he taught the world how to protect itself.